All right, well, welcome everybody to our fifth BFNations podcast. So, as always, hosting myself, returning guest Maple, that you all know for sure, admin of BFNations, and a guest, Golden Eagle SA, which I will give him a chance to present himself to everybody for those of you who don't know him. So, go ahead, Golden Eagle, take it away.
Hello, everyone. Golden Eagle is here, Gamers Community Founder, CEO. Just here to have a chat with amazing friends and answer some of the questions they want to ask.
Awesome. So, just to give you guys a little idea of the topics at hand for today's podcast. So, talking about upcoming content and updates, thoughts on what the new studio, led by Halo co-creator Marcus Letho, might work on in the near future. And also talking about Battlefield 2042 and having a rent-a-server program and a server browser and how that would affect the current player counts of the game. So, starting off with the first topic, do you expect upcoming content/updates to be enough to bring players back to the game? Considering that first impressions are often very important, and it is a talking point among the community.
That's actually one of the good. That's one of the good questions that have been actually urgent to answer.
Yeah, so go ahead, start it off, and we'll all touch a little bit on this question after.
So basically, the content that is coming, that we do really hope that it's going to be enough to bring back a lot of people together. Actually, that's what I've been hoping myself. They are working to add a couple of stuff, as we all heard, of course, and I hope that content's going to be enough to bring people. My personal point of that is I do hope to see more weapons and more maps, actually. More achievements, more things to do in the game instead of having just 15 or 16 weapons. I want to have more weapons like back in Battlefield 4. And we can get more of these things and more of these attachments, more of these achievements, many people love different guns. Many Battlefielders love different guns, including myself. So I do really hope the content's going to be enough actually for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel as though like a lot of weapons, seeing as it is kind of like a later down the line war scenario, and having all these massive superpowers, well, the two super nations, so to speak, fighting in this war, you'd think that the mercs that they're hiring, because they're no-pats, right? They're essentially mercenaries that they're hiring, would all have their different arsenal of weapons at hand, considering that they're all from essentially different countries. At the base, sure, they're fighting for each super nation, but they all have their own heritage and their own background. They all come from different countries, and having some of those countries' arsenal and weaponry, I think, would have been like something, something good to have when the game launched. Because you have these two superpowers, and everybody's kind of scrounging around for ammo, or they're hiring mercenaries to fight their wars. So all those mercenaries would have like their own armory, basically. So yeah, definitely having more weapons and
different weapons. The West World, the East World thing.
Exactly,
AKs, like M4 and M16s. RPG versus small or javelins, stuff like that.
Yeah, like you think just in Europe, think of how many arms manufacturers there are.
Oh yeah,
just in Europe, it's insane. Like all the different countries have their own like specialized weapon for their military. Think of like the Belgians with the FNFAL or
FNFAL, CZ rifles.
Is it the French that have the FAMAS, or is it the
It's actually the French, not the FAMAS. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it is the French. There you go. And then you have the Germans with the HKs, and so yeah, there's a lot of there could be a lot more variety in terms of weaponry. But I do like understand that having more weapons makes it so that there's kind of more balancing to do, and some weapons might function similarly. But I think having more variety is more important than having
that's
unique weapons. It's not like Apex Legends. That's, for example, a battle royale where you don't want to have too many weapons because it dilutes the loot pool, and two, a lot of the weapons would start feeling similar. So you have to end up vaulting weapons to mix up the gameplay. But in a game like Battlefield, which is one team against the other, everybody has a choice right off the bat to pick which weapon they want. It's not like you have to go around looking for them. So having the option to have and choose which weapons you prefer Yeah, and having a lot of people like achievements, that's just how we're built nowadays. Short attention spans.
I think the way that it should be, it's Battlefield. It's about weapons. It's about more guns. It's about more effects and shooting and stuff like that. Unfortunately, the current Battlefield got only one rocket launcher,
Oh
which is
man,
what's it
so
called, the
sad.
recoilless. Yeah, it's
Oh,
so sad.
M5
so
recoilless,
sad.
yeah.
Yeah,
Man,
exactly. If you look at Battlefield 4, it got like what? God knows how many
6
launchers it got.
launchers, the RPG, the
Yeah,
SMA, the MBT
yeah,
Law, the
small,
Igla, the
exactly.
Stinger,
Javelin,
and the
all that
Javelin,
fun.
and the one that you can pick
Soflam
up,
thing.
the
Yeah,
C3,
so
the C3 pickup
it,
rocket. So I had like
dude,
7
there was
launchers.
there was tons and tons of
Yeah, yeah.
content.
I miss my
Battlefield.
RPG so much.
Now,
I miss
if
it.
you're going to be talking about content, I think that's the most important thing that needs to be there, to be honest. And one of the most important things is just more weapons, guys. More weapons. We don't mind customizing the classes and stuff like that, but we need more weapons, please.
Yeah,
More
yeah.
weapons, more guns.
Sometimes
This
I'm
is
like,
what everybody actually wants.
I like sniping, and sometimes I'm just sitting there. It's like, well, that sucks. Say there's only 3 snipers, and one of them's like, you don't really want to use it as a sniper because of the bullet drop. So there's really only 2 snipers, and it's like, meh.
Bomb
Maybe
tactics, you
variant.
got DMRs, SVDs,
Yeah,
remember
exactly.
that, MK rifles, stuff like that, man. You
Yeah.
can't just avoid it. It has to be
We
there.
need
It
those
must be there.
dopamine highs from the achievements. Give them to me.
Or
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
slight
Oh, yeah.
variation. In Battlefield 1, you have the factory, the optical,
Yeah.
so some weapon could have maybe more change and less accessibility in the plus menu. So you have to select your weapon. Maybe that could be a good way
But
to
Battlefield 1 also had a massive arsenal of
inventory.
weapons.
Yeah.
Oh my god, there was so many.
Battlefield 3, yeah, if you go back a little bit now, remember Battlefield 2, and then there was ages until Battlefield 3 got released, right? There were people waiting years to hear about Battlefield since Battlefield 2. People get addicted to it. I grew up playing Battlefield, actually. And when Battlefield 3 got released, it was amazing. It was super amazing. And then Battlefield 4 comes out with tons of content more than Battlefield 3. It was a success, and everybody loved it more than anyone. And then now we have things going backwards until Battlefield. We don't we don't want to go back into we don't want to go into details about it. But what we all hope here is this game is to be fixed, honestly, so the community go back to it.
They kind
I
of.
believe.
Sorry, go ahead.
The whole thing is, I hope that the studio realized that there's a lot of loyal players for Battlefield. People grow up playing Battlefield and they love Battlefield. I really hope they realize that you need to take care of them instead of losing them.
And I think they
And
kind
since-
of. Sorry, go ahead.
Since Battlefield, Battlefield 1 was the start of people leaving it, not because they hate it, but because the team has changed. Many people didn't like the World War I team. But when Battlefield 5 came out, it seems that, unfortunately, there's people who gave their feedback in a bad way, not in a professional way, But at the end of the time, it's the community, man. You need to hear it. You need to listen to the community in order not to lose that much, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I think they
And-
kind of dug themselves a hole because right now they're kind of in this weird position where there's not a whole lot of attention on the game. So, why would they invest money in content and fixing the game when there's so few people playing it? So, why not focus all that attention on the next game? But if they do that and they don't fix the current game, then the people that are still playing the game, they're kind of screwed because the game's not going to be fixed and there's not going to be content. So they're kind of in this weird spot where they dug themselves a hole that there's, they just have to assume the cost of fixing the game and making content for it and just suck it up and do it, as hard as it might be for them to swallow that pill. And regardless of how many players are playing right now, people bought the game and the live service was promised, battle passes and season 1 content and all that.
Yeah.
They need to deliver something substantial because if not, the players that are still playing right now are going to be more so burned than the people who have stopped already. So, yeah, it's kind of a tricky situation.
You're right there, but I think there's a very important point. How many people will believe if EA comes out now and says the next Battlefield is going to be amazing? That's the thing.
Exactly. Like,
So exactly. So if you go back to showing the people right now that you can basically add value to the current game, make people go back and play it and love it again, and then you can make a promise for the next game.
mhm.
But if you're gonna announce a new game right now and the current status for the past two games are not really good, I think people will be a little bit hesitant to
I
get
understand what you
into.
mean here. Yeah.
Yeah,
The link of trust is maybe a little bit
weakened.
weekend. Yeah,
Weakened
yeah. So yeah,
significantly.
Gotta
I
say
feel like it
something
may
though.
have.
Marketing did a hell
Yeah,
of a good job on
they
Battlefield
did.
2042.
They
Yeah,
did
but at the
actually.
same
They
time,
did. Yeah, they
yeah, but I
did.
feel like it was a double-edged sword because using the word like love letter, it was kind
Yeah.
of the climax of the relationship
Pe-
that the game having with the community. So
People
for me,
remember that stuff, man. You got to be careful what you promise and like what you end up delivering, because saying the game was a love letter to the fans and then having what we got,
I feel like it
whew,
has touched the community a little bit more deeper because the marketing was actually so good
mhm.
that it has hurt the community maybe to see
Let,
that after.
let us keep in mind that you know if you're going to be talking about the game, talking about the game, regardless, we're not going to be mentioning the people who's working behind it, right? But what
Mhm.
we're going to be saying here, we're talking about EA as a business module, right? Um, community is the money for you. In order to make the community pay the money, you'll need to have a good product that people
Mhm.
love.
And like
Killing the product, exactly, killing
they
the product that way
they could
won't
have
really
the
make you move
market.
forward.
They've been
They,
king of like multiplayer first person shooters for years. I'm not talking about like the tactical shooters that are, making a
yeah,
substantial mark in the market right now with Escape from Tarkov and Hunt Showdown and
look at
Squad.
look at
But that's
look,
a specific
look at
crowd of fans.
oh,
Like if you want to go
squad, man.
something, yeah, it's hell of a game, eh?
I love Squad, man. Look, what
But that's like a
I've been
specific,
playing.
you had to be in the mindset to play that game. Like it's not that like as much as people say like Battlefield's not a casual game. It is somewhat a casual game. Like you can just jump in and have fun. You don't have to be like super serious and everything.
Yeah, it's not
And
the tattoo.
Battlefield was the king of that. If they made a modern themed Battlefield game that blew everyone out of the water with its polish and its quality and the content that it had, they would be
Yeah.
making money hand over fist. They would have the market. That would be it. There's no other competition,
Everyone asks the same question, like, what the hell is going on? Is a AAA studio that needs to make the game better, right? And
Mm-hmm.
let me tell you, there's certain people in the studio, they're really working hard to make things work because they're between the developers and between the community. They're kind of squeezed, they're like sandwiched. They're getting hit from everywhere. When we
Feels
understand what's
bad.
going on there. Feels bad. I know how the studio operates. I know a couple of things of what's going on, and I understand. You know that you shouldn't be. If you want to give an opinion about the game, you don't have to go really, really negative about it. You just mention what is right there. And they listen. But unfortunately, we've seen big amount of the community come into the game and curse instead of basically talking professionally about it. And that what generates a lot of negativity around the community. This is not going to take you anywhere. The numbers never lie. The studio knows the game is not winning. People are
Mm-hmm.
leaving and dropping the game. They're
For
looking.
sure.
They're definitely looking into. Okay, there's something wrong about it. Why are they not fixing anything at the moment? I really don't know. We all hope that it's going to be fixed. But what we're looking for here is we love Battlefield, and we do fight for it. I actually grow up play Battlefield, as I said before. And I want to see more of that. I want to see more of the successful Battlefield, more of the games. I
Mm-hmm.
want to.
I feel
I
like for
want
the
to
passion people can have for a
exactly.
first-person shooter, the
When you do it,
relation that people
yeah,
have with Battlefield is,
yeah.
yeah, there's really a community around this
They,
game.
they they
I
build such
want
a
to
strong
bring
community. They need to nurture it. Just
the fun factor about it. The fun factor, like back in Battlefield, Battlefield 2, Battlefield Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4. You do remember how you used to group around and play and have fun and just laugh
every
and
night, every
everything was
night,
balanced.
every night I
Battlefield
jump
1,
on with
man,
the squad,
for
man.
man, it
Oh
was
yeah, man,
Battlefield
yeah,
1
yeah.
a day, and that was insane, till like
Battlefield
4 in the
4,
morning.
playing with my
I
dad.
Oh
Yeah,
really? You played it with the
yeah,
cool,
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Nice.
Miss those times, man. So It's been such a well. My
You
dad.
got a gaming father, man. That's a very rare treat.
Yeah. But like he's always preferred modern day shooters. So the past two titles, like excluding Battlefield 2042,
Yeah.
didn't really tickle his fancy all that much, so to speak.
Okay.
And like we were like, oh yeah, man, Battlefield 2042 is gonna bring us back. We're gonna have all these new features. Gonna be able to do like in the old days, make a group of 10 people and join a server, even if we're on opposite teams, whatever. We're just gonna have some fun, shoot the shit. No.
I one thing I think they have done good, even if it was not a modern shooter from 4 to 1, there was so much immersion that the new people like me, it bring a lot of people to know the Battlefield franchise and know it on a kind of emotional way. Like people have connect with this game Battlefield 1. So I feel like sometimes they want to do like different to adhere different, to bring different audience, which is good. They have done the right recipe with Battlefield 1.
But they need to remember, like they need to still keep their core audience. The people that have been playing Battlefield for 20 years.
I played Battlefield 1. I gotta tell you that, and I enjoyed it. I didn't mind the team. I didn't mind that it's World War One. It was something new. People didn't really
something
resist
that
it
not many
much.
people had done.
Not many people.
Most
have done,
importantly,
bear in mind, Battlefield 1 was out. Battlefield 4 was actually quite active. Actually, it's still active until today. You can see the servers are full and people play it. People start jumping back to Battlefield 1, play a little bit, and they go back to Battlefield 4, and all that.
And 5, we'll see.
They kind of complemented each other. If you wanted something like a little bit more different, you'd go into Battlefield 1, and if you wanted the good old favorite, like you feel at home, Battlefield 4. And they had we had the tools in Battlefield 4 to support communities for long term. Rental servers, ProCon, Battlelog for the longest time. And, you had all these tools to build a community. And, every Thursday you'd hop on, see the same people on the server,
Actually, that was one of the tools that we're going to be talking about actually in the podcast today.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a lot to say about, but that was
we can segue right into that third topic and then come back on the second topic. So the third topic was, do you think Battlefield 2042 would be in a better place if it had a rent-a-server program as well as a server browser? So that is a lot.
1,000,000%. If you look back at Battlefield 3 and 4, the third-party programs that help the community, the add-ons there, that, participate in building the Battlefield community massively. Restricting weapons, adding stuff, adding classes, remove classes and stuff like that, adding certain weapons, removing certain weapons. That really shaped a lot in the Battlefield community.
Yeah, and made some really strong communities in a lot of spaces that probably a lot of people remember, AOD, like just to mention one of them that was pretty noticeable and had quite a few servers active, and they're still there.
We actually had. AODs is one of the best. Actually, we had the server that used to be for snipers only, bolt action. You're not able to knife anyone. Just bolt action, purely bolt action. Don't use pistol. Don't knife anyone. Just shoot the gun. And that really, really worked. That really, really worked, and it was amazing. It was really amazing. The map size and all that. The third party, the server rental program. Giving licenses to hosting companies, that will also give you a bigger network around the world.
Exactly.
Make you choose what is the best spot for your community. Growing your network significantly as well. You have people that live in Asia. You got people live in South Africa, Australia, and all that. You will definitely rely on third parties to help you with that, and that really helps the community.
And people are glad to pay for servers if that is something that is available, if they want to. Because right now, you can't keep us like certain regions that have maybe less players overall. I'm thinking like the Oceanic region and Africa more than likely have less players overall, and not having the option to have a server that is constantly up, allowing people to join that server, it's kind of a detriment to those specific regions more so. Because there's not a whole lot of people playing, and you can't, if you're not in the server, if the admin's not in the server or nobody's left in the server, and then it just shuts down, you have to recreate it again. So there's no sense of community, and it makes it difficult for a lot
I
of
don't
people
think
to.
they don't want to send a sense of no community. I think it was technical reason too. But speaking about South Africa, indeed, even in Battlefield 1, Miles, there was kind of a stop of the server at the
Mhm.
end. So we were not able to do like community matches. And even here, he told me, with no server, people lose interest with time, even if we love the franchise after all. So maybe it's not the most profitable to have server at some location, but it's really important for the game overall, and it will make you thrive on the long
Especially
run.
now that it's multiplayer only, you got to think
Yeah,
about that stuff. You took out single player, so if
true.
you start shutting down servers and regions, man, when in a multiplayer only game, that's a hard pill to swallow for people. You
It
know,
is, yeah, it is. It is
Oof.
actually yeah, it plays a big part, doesn't it? The single player there,
Yeah, a lot of people never played any single player campaign in Battlefield, but it was still added value to the game, even if people were mostly in it for the multiplayer experience. And then you took that out in order to focus more on multiplayer, which
Let
subjectively or
me ask,
objectively didn't show all that much.
let me ask you this
Um,
question, guys. Then, in that case, do you think it was more money saving? Do you think it was more budget managing? They don't want to add single player in that game. What do you guys
mm,
think?
I honestly think that the game was probably meant to be like a battle royale, and then they were like, "Well, we can't really do that. People aren't going to like it," or we're seeing that it was probably not exactly what the game was supposed to be, maybe. And then they flipped around and say, "Well, we got to make something that's more like akin to classic Battlefield." And they were like, "Oh, well, we don't have time to do all this. Let's just cut the single player campaign, which is arguably probably the least played facet of Battlefield. I guess we could say. But yeah, I don't
I feel
think
like it
like
goes with the trend that they wanted to take, like they wanted to
multiplayer
innovate,
only. Yeah,
hero a bit shooter, but I feel like they wanted too much to go on some route that was existing and was profitable, but it was not Battlefield and it will never be. I feel
yeah.
indeed that the game was made for Battle Royale, but for me, it's due to the map. The map are so much looking, smelling like a Battle Royale map at each time. It's big spaces. Yeah, like the circle will reduce. It's kind of made to progress to certain area, and like the circle will finish in the small, dense part of the map. I'm sure of it. I'm sure it was one of the way it was built
Hmm.
at the beginning, and
Hmm.
that's the
Yeah.
feeling I have. So for me, not bring single player, I'm okay. But it's mostly they didn't bring multiplayer. They didn't bring single player. They bring shooter. The phrase at the end of the round, I'm sorry, I find it a little bit corny. So no, for the innovation, that will have been all right. Like if in Battlefield 1 you have no single player and you will have only multiplayer, I think it would have been a success too. Like as an
Hmm.
example, or
Yeah.
even Battlefield 5. But the reason why they have done this in Battlefield 2042 with like no paths and new story and all that, I may have would have add at least one big single mission, so you understand the no paths, you understand the world, you understand the big battle,
Yeah.
and
They
after just
they talk
and
about all
like
this lore, and it's like,
yeah, and like a mandatory, you start the game, you have no choice to go through a little bit like Battlefield 1, uh, and then the game start after. I think one single player to put us in context would have been the best.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's
definitely.
true. That's true. That's true. The
And
lore of Battlefield is actually something. The most game that I've enjoyed playing the campaign was Bad Company 2, if you remember, guys. It was funny. It was amazing.
yeah, the
Bad
writers did an
Company 2
amazing job with that
it
game,
was it was
writing
it
in the
was
characters. The
outstanding.
characters like had personality.
Humoristic, yeah,
You
yeah, yeah.
remember
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
They had
I see the
pretty
video.
remarkable, kind of like Captain Price, and just comparing to Call of Duty, a notable character in
yeah.
the Call of Duty franchise. Captain Price. Everybody knows him. You know, and then you have same
Oh,
thing
the
in
campaign
BC
is
two.
amazing, actually.
Haggard, and you had these notable characters. They did a good job, and I think
Beautiful,
one of the
man.
big problems that they're having an identity crisis. They're trying to chase trends that they're not necessarily used to doing games like that. For example, like a hero shooter, they've never
You see,
done that, so to speak. So they're chasing these trends that they have no experience in. So they're offering these products that are arguably probably less fun to play in that specific gaming genre, as
yeah,
opposed to
yeah,
other companies that have been doing that genre for a long time now. You know, and so they're chasing trends to make money. Because a company like that is publicly traded, a CEO's job legally is to make profit for the shareholders. That's how it is, you know. And
Actually, you're 100% right.
so
And this is what we don't. This is what's not been liked. This is what's been hated by the community. You know,
so they're
if you wanna-
chasing these trends, and by chasing the trends, well, they're leaving their core
Yeah.
audience behind, trying to attract new audiences. But the new audiences already have those type of experiences in other games. So why would they jump over to your game that is, you know, less polished, obviously, and possibly not as fun to play? And people, you know, maybe don't want another game that is exactly like something else that they already play. So it's kind of like the, you know, chasing trends, but you end up pleasing no one. So all that money you wanted to make, you end up making none of it because nobody cares about your product. So it's kind of like
in my opinion, I think the old Battlefield has nothing wrong with them. You know, they've added the characters in there, not the class system. What is it called? The specialist.
There you go.
You
See?
can keep the specialist. Actually,
You don't even remember
but
what they're called because they're so like
it's just it wasn't my, you know, it wasn't something that I was looking up for. You know, it's Battlefield. It's Battlefield. There was nothing wrong with Battlefield. Actually, if they remastered Battlefield 4 and they re-released it, it would be sold much more than 2042. Way much better. Way much better. There's nothing wrong with it. All you need to do is just, you know, keep the core as is. Don't change it. To be honest, I think the core has changed.
I've said it so much, and I'll say it again.
Yes.
People are scared of change one, and when you make something like that, 90% the same, 10% new. Don't release 90% new and 10% the same,
10%
because
the
people
same.
then jump into the game and are like, "What the hell's this? This isn't Battlefield. What am I looking at here?" You know, everything's changed.
Am I playing Call of Duty again? Or am I playing
Exactly. Like
Battlefield? What the
even
hell,
Call of
you know?
Duty, they're shoehorning the specialists. Like they're all in the mindset of selling skins for, you know, the characters, and that's the best way to do that is have specialists and all that, yada yada yada. But in the end, if you got nobody playing the game, nobody's going to buy your skins for the specialists because nobody cares about them. So you're not making more money; you're losing money. You know. So
Yeah,
it's
and I
kind of
feel
like
And you're wasting time. Your developers are working on that.
exactly. Like I understand like Battlefield's like a minute part of EA's portfolio overall because they're making so much freaking money with their sports titles. Like
Yeah.
it's
If
insane.
you remember in Battlefield 4, there's actually a couple of communities that are trying to do esports, yourselves included. It worked fine till Battlefield 1, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
But
They
there was
tried
incursion
also-
in Battlefield 1 too. Let's remember
there was
that. So it could
incursion,
have worked well.
I remember
too,
waking
yeah.
up at like 4 a.m. to try that out on release day.
Bro.
Yeah, incursions were actually.
I remember Synergy, the German team, they were always first. We were always losing versus them, but it was fun. We were playing at each week still. That was amazing. I loved Incursion. I so loved it. And I just want to say that really real quick, that the fact that they were going to a Call of Duty mode, I feel like it has hurt the community even more, because actually the difference between, I don't know the Call of Duty community, but I feel like they throw a game at each year and it's kind of more less intense, let's say. There's really a community in Battlefield that make the games thrive in itself. The game have a soul. So going for kind of the competitor who have a game at each year, it was feeling the profit even more. So it has discussed people, I feel, even more due to that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Does that make sense?
True.
Like,
that's very true.
unfortunately, Battlefield's never going to be Call of Duty. Like, it's never going to be that juggernaut of a franchise.
They try with this one, but
they try, but now like nobody wants to play it. Not the new audience, not the old audience. It's just like almost dead in the water.
But I don't dislike the game, though.
No, I mean it's still Battlefield to some extent, but they just ripped out so much of what makes it Battlefield.
What really hurts me the most is, you know, truth is the truth. Battlefield is not moving forward, unfortunately. Unfortunately. And I do know a couple of guys there, and I respect a lot of guys working the studio. I respect them, and I really, you know, you want to be careful when you say your opinion about it sometimes, but the truth is the truth. I love Battlefield. I want Battlefield back. This is what I want. I want to see. Every time I want to fire up my PC, I want to play the Battlefield. I want to play the game that I enjoyed. I used to enjoy in the old days. You know, yes, let's think of it that the community, the studio tried to create something perhaps new, trying to make it successful. It didn't work, right? But they need to realize that if you're going to be making the next promise, I don't think there will be many people listening to it, unfortunately. And
Yeah.
this is really hard. I respect these guys. I have a couple of friends working there as well. Not as developers, but people are people. They tried to do something new. It failed. It failed. Simple as that. Let's just go back to the. It's not too late to save it. Let's go back.
But even
To
bad comments, it's because people are caring. So
Mhm. All that.
there's two types of comments that could be really bad. The one that when people start cursing, if you know what I mean.
yeah, no, yeah.
And when people start attacking the people working in the company,
Hmm.
humans are humans. You don't have to do that. Although I
Yeah.
decide to avoid these conversations when it comes about negativity speaking, no, it's more of they listen, right? They do listen.
Yeah.
And let's just speak honestly about it. The current battlefield is not the battlefield that I want to play. No. And everybody knows in the community that, if there is something that's quite successful, I'll be supporting it with as much as I can,
Mhm.
There is a lot to do. If imagine that, let's go back to Battlefield 4 days and Battlefield Nation exists back then. Can you imagine the potential? Can you
Been
imagine?
Oh, yeah.
Can you
insane.
imagine?
Been insane.
Can you imagine how big that could be? Can you imagine the amount of people who are willing to support? They're going to be participating in this. It's just going to be a win-win case for the studio, for the community. To me personally, the way I look at it is Battlefield. Now the studio tried something new that it failed. They need to go back. They need to basically make the Battlefield again.
Mhm. You need to go back and
And
see
just
what made Battlefield so
just
popular to begin with, and work
the
off of that.
community. Exactly, the community is there. Everyone said their opinion about it. Where is the Battlefield that we want? Just do what they want and just make money and make the people enjoy. If you know what I mean. I don't want to go into how much it costs and all that. I don't want to talk about this. This is something I'm not really good at. But to be honest, I'm speaking on behalf of myself here. I really want to play the Battlefield. I mean, honestly, if they release something that is good as it used to be the Battlefield we play, I don't mind, paying $100 for it. It's not a problem to me. I want that. I want to play the Battlefield that I love, man. I really wish EA brings back the Battlefield that we all love. Yeah, that's this is my personal opinion. Many people out there having different opinions about how the game costs and all that. Again, I'm not going to be talking about it. It's not my area. I don't want to. I don't want to be involved in that conversation. Once again, for the fifth time, I just wish to have Battlefield back, man. That's what I
I
want. Honestly.
want to feel like I want to play Battlefield like every night, like back in the day.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah.
just that's unfortunately it's just not that. It ain't it right now. It ain't it for a variety of reasons. Even if I did want to play, it's always more fun with friends. Nobody that I know is playing it. Nobody's gonna ask me, "Hey, you want to play Battlefield 2042?" And playing solo is kind of eh. You can't talk to the team. You can't voice chat to people. It's just like they took out everything that builds communities. It's very hard to make friends in Battlefield right now because there's no like persistent servers for XYZ reason, whatever that reason may be. Meeting people in Battlefield back in the day, you would play in a server and it would just rotate through all the maps, and you could stay in the same squad for like 10 rounds in a row if you wanted to, and then have chemistry with that person. And you're like, oh, I'm gonna add you to a friends list. We can play more together next time I get on, or whatever. And that's how you build like communities. But there's just like no real way to build the friends and communities and in the current title, and it sucks.
You know what I think? You know what I think right now? I think there's nothing stopping anyone else from making a game that looks like Battlefield at the moment.
Yeah, market's
I mean,
open.
look at World War III.
There is World War III. I've tried the game. It's not bad, but it's not good as Battlefield. It's not bad.
Yeah,
It has
it's missing.
potential.
It's missing a couple of things.
It's missing a lot of things. It's missing a lot of things.
It is
But the
arguably a quite
content-
smaller developer as well. So
Yes.
Yeah.
It's in India, I think, isn't it? It's a group of
Yeah.
people who worked out. But if you think about it, imagine if a bigger company took that brand, World War III, and developed it to a level where it's similar to Battlefield. What's stopping anyone from doing the same?
Exactly.
What's stopping any studio in the gaming market at the moment from doing that? Actually, there's a game called what's it called? Hell Doorstep or something like that.
Harsh Doorstep.
I don't know. Yeah, Hush
Yeah.
Hush Doorstep.
I think it's releasing on April 5th, if I'm not mistaken.
That's not a AAA studio. There's
No.
only a couple of people on Patreon, and look how good they are.
Yeah, I haven't looked too much into it, but community members in my Discord server have been talking about it, and I'm definitely going to look into it when it releases for sure. Give that game a whirl.
They
And,
worked on that game pretty well. Now, it's a mixture between Battlefield and Squad.
Mm-hmm.
And, the effects in Squad is one of the best games. Like, you played Squad. You see the
Yeah,
shooting effect. And all that, how
exactly,
it
but
looks,
it's
the
kind of like a
sound
more
and all that.
hardcore game.
It's look difficult.
If you
It
say
is a very, very
hardcore,
hard, yeah.
it's like it doesn't really tell you what to do.
It's actually used to be a mod in Battlefield 2.
Yeah.
It's Project Reality for your information.
Mm-hmm.
So that game was actually created from Battlefield 2.
Yeah.
That's the irony. This is funny because it's a game that many people plays right now. It's called Squad, but actually used to be Battlefield 2 mod, and now it's a separate game.
Mm-hmm. And it's a little bit more hardcore, so it's not for everybody because the action's kind of like more compartmentalized. It takes a little bit longer to get into the action because the maps are massive, obviously, and you really, really, really have to play as a team in there. If you're not playing as a team, you're losing. It's like it doesn't forgive. You get shot. It's not forgiving. You can't just go around the corner and heal. So it's kind of like it's a different type of game. You have to be in that mindset, as I said earlier, to play that. Kind of like Hell Let Loose. I don't know if you've played Hell Let Loose at all. It's kind of in the same fashion.
It was an option, but I went for Postscriptum instead.
Postscriptum. Haven't played that. Heard good things though. And yeah, it's kind of like that more hardcore shooter.
It's similar as Squad, but it's World War II.
Okay, so yeah, a little bit more hardcore. And
yeah, you can say that. So, but back into the point where we said, right, and I hope this podcast will be heard by a couple of these people who make decisions in the company, honestly. And I want to say, look, at the moment, there is a threat for the business model we have. There could be a studio out there, or could be a group of people who are really good at making games. They could take over. And then it will be really difficult to save Battlefield brand. You'll be buried under the sand if that happens.
Yeah, if anybody came out and did like, hey, look, we got something that's, kind of similar to Battlefield, but, put a lot of work into it. It's got a lot of content. It's polished. We're building it with the community. We're listening and all that.
There you go. That could be the key to kill Battlefield, man. That could be the thing that could destroy Battlefield. And yeah, that's the thing that I'm really afraid to see. But if there's a studio who's willing to take that, and EA didn't really listen to the community, it's more likely this is what's happening. Because we've seen actually a couple of people that are attempting to do that. We've seen a couple of groups, couple of small studios trying to do that. And it seems that they're getting close, to be honest. So if EA didn't really open their eyes and do something, it's going to happen sooner or later, man.
Yeah, because people right now don't have Battlefield, so they're looking at all these other developers, and they're like, well, what do these people have to to offer? Let's go play something else. Let's go try this. Let's go try that.
I have a little theory on this.
Go ahead.
Maybe with the big like for profitability of Battlefield, maybe it will be better than what we think, because with all the new rules about the loot box, the surprise boxes system,
surprise mechanics.
I mean, so, and like people literally considering the FIFA card as gambling and all that. Maybe one time you will have like 50 countries in the world that will say no, not this anymore. Because most, I don't know, but it seems like most of the profit made by EA is the FIFA cards and points and packs.
They have to have something to fall back on if ever
this become illegal.
Countries pull the plug and say, "Hey, man, you can't sell this game, or you can't sell this game in our country if you have loot boxes in it." That's a big hit to their profit margins. Obviously, Apex Legends is also a big.
There was a big talk about that, wasn't it? For Star Wars, I think that happened back in Star Wars.
God. If Disney had to step in for Star Wars, that
was a big smack, actually. I remember that.
But my point is, if they made this illegal, they will have no choice to focus on game like Battlefield, like much more. That's my point here, because we know it's 5%, but if you cut all the gambling and it's illegal, you will need to do some games that are not around this
with something else.
So, that was my point here. But sorry, I cut you, Golden. You were about to say?
Actually, no. I was actually more listening.
Can't
to
put all your
what
eggs in
the,
one basket,
feedback
you know?
was. Exactly. That's that. Yeah,
Especially as a
exactly.
large company, of course, like a single developer that's not publicly traded, you know, they will probably put all their eggs in like a single basket or like 2 games if they have the staff for it. But a massive company like EA, you got to diversify, man. Yeah, it's a difficult line to walk if the shareholders are looking at you and like, hey, we lost like 30% on our shares because loot boxes are now illegal in 50 countries. What else do we have to fall back on to make our money back?
I was actually in it with a group of people, and one of the guys actually, I was traveling. I was in my holiday, and we had a conversation with one of my friends. He actually said something quite interesting. He's actually also playing Battlefield, and he's probably sharing the same opinion as I am. He said, "Do you think that if EA really failed to deliver, do you think they will sell Battlefield brand?" I looked at him and I said, "What do you think?" He was like, "What if actually EA totally failed about Battlefield and they sold the brand? Someone else bought it. What would in that opened a whole new conversation. I was like, what do you think?" It was like, I don't know, man, but whoever is going to be buying that brand, if EA sells that,
Can you imagine if
you know,
Microsoft came in and said, hey, we'll buy that? They cornered the
Or-
entire FPS market. They have everything.
Or
You
Respawn or
never know,
another
man.
company, or they are under the
Many-
roof
many
of
other
the
I'm
EA.
talking another publisher, like a whole other
no.
company.
Yeah,
Imagine
yeah,
if
yeah.
Yeah.
Microsoft came in and said, we'll buy Battlefield. You know, now they have COD and Battlefield. God damn. You got everything.
Sony need to buy it directly. And
You know,
say,
what's it
Sony
gonna
exclusive.
what then? What's gonna happen then? You know, I think that's a subject to be discussed in a
Mhm.
new podcast. To be honest,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
there's many studios, many individuals, believe it or not, are willing actually to buy the brand of Battlefield. Believe it or not.
Yeah, there's a
No,
market
I
for
believe
it.
it, bro.
There's a devoted community,
There's a
devoted
huge-
fans that if it's a good game,
Exactly.
man, they'll scream it on the rooftops and tell everybody to buy it. Let's go play some Battlefield, man. Let's go fly a chopper.
Even
Listen
if the
to
game failed, though,
CCR.
it will
What if
be
they did like what they did on the shares market? You know, when there's a group of people purchased how many shares in the gaming industry, and they took control of something. What if
Mm.
actually a big group of people all chipped in and purchased the brand of Battlefield? That was one of the conversation, and we sat laughing. It was like, you know what he told me that really scared me? He was like, nothing actually stopping anyone from doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, they could do it.
I mean, so
They
if
could
it's
fucking do
happening, I'm chipping in
If it
10
happens,
bucks.
yeah.
I have
Hey
to
man,
Well-
if like Microsoft is willing to spend $70 billion on a publisher, you know,
World
that's
of
big
Warcraft,
money
right?
being thrown around. That is
Yeah,
big money. They have the
It was
By the
purchasing
way, this
power.
acquisition is under
Yeah,
observation, I feel.
FTC, I think, is looking into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But like,
was the situation actually changed after Microsoft purchased it? Did Microsoft actually?
well, the
add
purchase
things
hasn't
value
gone
to the
through yet. They
community?
I think it's still
Oh.
like at least 1
Yeah.
year or 2 years off from being finalized. So
And
technically,
FCC is looking at that. due
yeah,
to
the
other-
FTC is looking at that to be like, whoa. Now they're starting to be like, you know, monopoly here.
That's
Can't-
60 billion, man. That's not a joke money, isn't it?
Well, I mean, freaking Microsoft. I think their market cap is like $3.2 trillion. So
Billion we're talking about. And Microsoft. Well, take a guess. In every house, there's a Microsoft, man. There's a computer. There's a software that costs X amount of money. So they're successful. They have
all the banks
do
use
have a
Microsoft and their
power.
freaking their machines that spit out the money.
They-
Everybody's using Microsoft, you know. So of
Man,
course, the
Right.
market cap is huge.
Let's try to buy it before Microsoft. Though. Let's chip in everyone. I'm gonna if if it's happening, let's gather the whole Battlefield community to chip in. So it will be our game, bro.
There
it
you
is.
go. There you go.
Let us know if it's happening. If you hear about that, my dear Golden, let us know. We will be more than happy. Anyway, we will follow this carefully. I just want to continue to the focus on our, let's say,
Yeah.
topic.
We're gonna move on to the next topic because it's already it's already been like 45. But God. So
No,
yeah,
that's okay. That's all
46
good.
minutes, yeah.
It's fun. It's fun today, guys.
some of us have to work. I can hear my phone vibrating in the back. It's probably Slack messages going off the hook. But that's okay. They can wait. So yeah, thoughts on what the new studio as I said earlier, led by Halo co-creator Marcus Letto, might work on. So they were talking about games like tying into the Battlefield 2042 universe. Now with 2042 kind of being like, what is that studio going to work on? What do you guys think the studio is going to work on?
Actually, I think they're gonna be working on a new Battlefield.
I hope they don't try to
That's what I think.
annualize releases though. That would.
I honestly have no idea, but that's also bad, if you know what I mean. If it's going to be annual release, it's going to be terrible. It's not going to be really adding any value. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, like
It's gonna
next
be
year, the rumors?
waste of time and waste of effort. You know.
Yeah, people are saying 2023. Well, I mean, people are saying
Because-
that COD's not releasing next year, so the market's kind of
Yeah.
open. But I mean, at the same time, it's not really the same kind of game. You know, Call of Duty's kind of like that cracked out game where everybody's like hopped up on G Fuel and running around and jump shotting people. Battlefield's like a little bit more toned down, sort of like you got to play a little bit more as a team. Well, maybe not so much in 2042, but in past Battlefield titles.
Have you guys actually played Battlefield? Sorry, Call of Duty. While Battlefield wasn't really the game that we were playing.
Last time I really played Call of Duty was Black Ops. That was a long time ago. That was like 10 years ago.
Have you tried the Modern Warfare?
Yeah.
The one that.
Yeah, when we
played
played
the
the
beta.
Nvidia card, they were giving Modern Warfare back in the days. That was the game.
I think I played the beta, and that was kind of it. I tried Warzone as well.
I mean, for me, it was 250 gigs, and they asked for my ID
God
card
damn.
when I wanted to close my Blizzard account. So no, I never played COD after. So it was
Call of Duty Modern Warfare tried to release a big map where there's tanks in it.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't work. Didn't really work that much.
Literally, all it did was you had two tanks camping on hills, and every time you'd spawn, it dead.
It was terrible. I laughed at it. I said, look, Call of Duty will never really pass that point. But if they manage to do so, they will manage to do so. We're going back to the point where there is a chance for someone else to do a game that is similar to Battlefield.
Like Call of Duty World at War, they were pretty damn close. Because the tank gameplay in Call of Duty World at War is pretty decent. Like, that was a long time ago. 2013, I think?
Yeah.
No
one is stopping, No one is.
If Blizzard were to say, okay, hang on, we have like 3 dozen studios working on Call of Duty right now. It's not 3 dozen. I'm exaggerating here. Let's take a pause, which is what they're doing here. They're taking a pause. 2023, there won't be a Call of Duty. One studio, you work on something that can compete with Battlefield. Do something different. And even if it's not under the Call of Duty umbrella,
then it's gonna end up with angry shareholders in EA saying, "Where the hell is the money that we chipped in?"
Yeah, we poured like $150 million into this franchise, and
how many staff do we pay money for, and how many, we've been waiting for money that
like 700 staff of 700 people, 700 developers. Man, that can't be cheap to run, considering that I don't know.
For Battlefield,
DICE has 700 employees. Okay, maybe half of them are working on Battlefield, half of them are working on other projects. Ballpark.
The worst is to see people losing jobs. This is the last thing you want.
Yeah, you don't want that.
You don't want that. You don't want that. But when it comes to money, shareholders and stuff like that, we were like, you know what? It's all about money, man. I don't care.
Unfortunately,
but I hope it will never reach to that level, man. I really hope it will never reach that level. Honestly,
I was, I was curious to see if they are they working? Will they start working maybe on a completely single player Battlefield game? Because clearly there's still some thirst for single player games. Some single player games have been doing pretty good. God of War did pretty good. Elden Ring, almost broke Steam.
Elden Ring was a big jump, wasn't it?
There's still Horizon Zero Dawn, Forbidden West. There's still some thirst for single player games, and if they want to build the Battlefield universe, if they have like a studio make an entirely single player game, maybe they have.
Again, look at the numbers. How many people were saying, "What, Battlefield without a campaign mode? What the hell, guys? What the hell?" Yeah,
They could make a really killer co-op campaign, kind of like Battlefield 3 missions. I'm sure you guys remember the co-op missions in Battlefield 3. If they managed to imagine playing Battlefield Bad Company 2, but each character in that is somebody playing with you, like one of your friends, and you're playing Battlefield Bad Company 2, the campaign, with 3 friends, one playing like Haggard and one, and that would be freaking awesome. That'd be crazy.
Yeah, it was amazing. What was the lady name there?
Oh, you're talking about Battlefield 4?
Battlefield 4, yeah. Battlefield 4.
Irish. She was. I can't recall. Damn it! I'm not gonna sleep tonight if I don't figure out what her name is. Hang on, let me go Google this real quick. Battlefield 4 campaign.
I'm not sure for the single player though. I feel like
No?
Have you played the single player Maple in
Yeah.
Battlefield 4?
No, I watched a little video and I have played the multiplayer only. That's why I was not talking during your exchange about the single player of Battlefield 4. I really coming from Battlefield 1. So, but even
okay.
there, I feel like there is not enough lore in Battlefield. It's more an experience about the multiplayer, and the soul of the game is there. So for me, I feel like a single player, as much as the game have a soul, as we said, as much as one single player mission before starting the game should be important. I feel like it should stay multiplayer and even continue to focus on that. But even maybe for me, adding one mandatory single player mission to know all the lore, all the character, all the story, all the drama or the joke that you have in it, and then boom, multiplayer world. Start with TDM from Conquest. I feel like it's really the way to go for Battlefield. One mandatory single player to introduce people to the world of Battlefield, and then 90% of the game multiplayer.
Yeah.
Hannah.
There you go, Hannah. Yeah.
I was waiting this whole time. I was like, I'm gonna say it. I found it.
Oh,
I'm gonna be able to sleep tonight. Sleep good in the cold.
The campaign of Battlefield 4 was really amazing. Battlefield 3 campaign was actually also amazing.
I'll go play the. You know what? I will go play the campaign of Battlefield 4.
You know what's the funny thing? You know what's the funny thing? Sorry for the interruption.
No.
The first Battlefield I actually stopped playing with tons of friends that we grew up playing didn't have a campaign mode. Battlefield 2 had no campaign mode. It was only multiplayer.
It was so next level though. Like for that time.
That time, yeah, because it was new tanks, aircrafts, and all that. It was really, really amazing. It was really, really amazing.
Having a commander, that was pretty different too.
That's it.
Having the commander be on the battlefield, because you could be a soldier and be the commander. You had boots on the ground. It wasn't like Battlefield 4 where the commander only commanded.
You can go into commander with using tablet without being on a server. That was actually something.
That was cool in Battlefield 4. That was really cool.
Something really, really good. Yeah.
Is Battlefield 4 your best Battlefield, if I may ask?
Me, Battlefield 4 was actually the best Battlefield I played and enjoyed, and I really enjoyed playing with friends and all that. Bad Company 2. Okay. That was Bad Company 2. I tried it in both console and PC. I actually assembled the first PC after I played Battlefield 2 in a gaming cafe.
Nice.
That was back late 2006, I think.
Oh.
And me and four of my friends decided to, that's it. Let's go and buy laptops. No, not laptops. Let's go and buy a PC.
Yeah, buddy. Moving up in the world.
I actually moved into the PC platform because of Battlefield. Honestly, because of Battlefield.
Nice.
And then through that, once we start, leaving Battlefield 2, because Battlefield 2 stayed, how many years between Battlefield 2 and Battlefield 3? That was like what?
I think it was quite a few. I think it was like at least three. I'm pretty sure, because they had one like Battlefield Bad Company that released only on console.
So they had Battlefield 3, Battlefield 2, and Battlefield 3. I'm talking, not the Bad Company.
Yeah. If we look at the main entries of the franchise, Battlefield 2 released in 2005.
2005, and Battlefield 3 was
looking at 11.
There you go.
It is to mention that they did build an entirely new engine, because Battlefield 2 was the Refractor engine. Battlefield 3 was a brand new Frostbite engine. So, probably a good chunk of that was spent on building the actual engine to run Battlefield. But for me, kind of like Battlefield 2 and Battlefield 4 kind of shared, because Battlefield 2, I remember using my dad's old hand-me-down PC to play with him, or at the beginning we played on the same account. So, I would do a round, he would sit behind me. He would do a round, I would sit behind him, kind of thing.
Wow. Yeah. All right, that's cool.
Yeah. Actually, I met somebody in the UK, like completely random, started playing with him for a long time. Like, he had the exact same birth date as me. That always stuck with me. Like, what are the odds that you meet somebody that lives across the world and has the same birth date as you? Like, what is this?
Oh, man, I made quite a friend, and I live on the other side of the world. Man, I met a lot of people in Battlefield. It's just Amazing.
Yeah,
It's just amazing. The way
just
you think of
on.
it, This is what makes me really feeling so defensive about Battlefield and why it's not moving forward. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, a lot of those
The
people that I
memories
played with
Yeah.
back in the day, they don't play Battlefield anymore. A lot of them have moved on to other titles, which sucks.
There you
But
go.
it is what it is.
This is what makes me really ask the question, like, if the studio is all about the money, this is the money. Why do you really avoid it? You
Mhm.
have people that's quite loyal. They're willing to pay for the game. Well, why don't you just make it a success? I don't really understand. I really get.
Yep.
But once again, the new studio that working on it, I hope it will add value. I hope, and I hope also that they won't say a new Battlefield coming out because many people just ignore that. Honestly,
Hmm.
No,
many
it's
people
true.
will
They will
ignore.
need to change their approach. That's very true.
Yeah,
At least we have another Battlefield. For me, I'm happy the fact that they bring Vince Zampella and Letho. I
yeah.
don't remember his first name, sorry, but two gem of making games. I feel like it's a bright future for Battlefield. But the marketing, as good as it is, it needs to be even
It needs to
because
reflect what the game is, rather than
people,
kind of
yeah,
doing
the
too
link
good of a
of
job.
trust is waking up, as we say at the beginning.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
remember, guys? Many people actually said, you know what? Remodeling the current game is really hard and it's not going to be a success and all that. But there is a very successful game, which is not a first-person shooter. I understand that. They totally killed the game and then they revived it again. Final Fantasy, the MMO. They killed it. They literally just took it down and they made a story behind that. And there's a rebirth for the same brand of Final Fantasy MMO. And now it's one of the successful games in the industry.
Hmm.
And it's
Literally.
only the first part because the original Battlefield, Final Fantasy VII, the first part that we saw in the remaster that goes on the PlayStation 5, it's only the very first part that normally in Final Fantasy VII, you start there
Yeah.
and you go out of the town. So now they bring back a remaster, but one full game just for the town. And if I'm correct, they will
But
create the rest of the game, but season, like area per area with the full game at each time.
what
For
makes it
yeah.
successful? This is the question. What makes it successful? One, a lot of people love Final Fantasy. They have a loyal community. Many people love Final Fantasy. Battlefield have the same. There's a lot of loyal people. A lot of loyal players.
Yeah.
Actually, I think releasing a new game is not going to be a good thing at the moment. It could be successful, but rebranding the current one, since many people purchased that, will save you a lot of risks, if you know what I mean. It will save you a lot of effort as well. Prove to the community that we're back on track, guys, and this is the game that you love to play.
Hmm.
And things will move smoothly from there. Honestly, this is and I've said that many, many times in closed rooms and in the public, and I'll keep saying it. At the moment, everyone feels really down and angry, gutted. If I may say that. The
Yep.
Battlefield brand needs to be revived in any way, honestly. I want the Battlefield I used to play and enjoy. I actually went into the PC gaming because of Battlefield 2, and I want to keep that. I
Yeah,
want to see that game again.
I agree.
You're not the only one, my friend.
Like we
Yeah.
would
But
say in French, faut mettre le pain sur la planche.
Yeah, well said. We need to
You
put
are
the bread on the
French?
table. It was the same. It was agreed. It was agreed with you in the French. But like I said, for me, Battlefield is still a Battlefield. But I think we cover really well what are the concern, let's say, around the game, and we have made a great observation at what we need to do. I really like the idea. You bring back the maybe someone else will buy I know it was just a theory, but maybe the rebirth will need to go by something like that. I don't know. The more you say that, I feel like it's not that a bad idea. After, I don't know, I feel like it's we'll see, but indeed there is work. The work is not trivial to do, as someone
It's
say.
not. It's not revealed exactly. It's not revealed, but I really hope you know what's going on. I really hope where they're driving the Battlefield, and I hope they take it to the right way. If you know what I mean. I hope they do.
Yep, I agree. 100%.
Yeah.
Battlefield needs to be
Yeah.
back, baby. I need to go spend some
Battlefield needs to be back,
Friday nights
baby.
with my pops.
Yeah. Is he still playing games with you though? Or
Well, he's been a lot playing Escape from Tarkov a lot lately, and
Yeah.
it's kind of
oh
swing and
man, your
miss.
father is a hardcore gamer, man. I gotta tell you, if he's doing Escape from Tarkov, dude, that's a game that I really feel super tense when I play. I
Oh
gotta
my
tell you
god!
that.
Like, yeah, it's kind of a swing and miss for me. Sometimes hit and miss.
Yeah.
What is the expression? Like, sometimes I'll get like I want to play Charkov. Like, I'll play the beginning of the wipe and be like level 35 within the first 2 weeks, and then I take a break
Yeah,
because man,
But God, you like
oh god, that game almost give me a heart attack sometimes. I swear.
But it's like $200 to buy the biggest pack before it starts.
Yeah,
So it's
but
for hardcore gamer, and it's
yeah, but
not a free game.
you
Let's
don't
say.
need to technically. Like, yeah, it does give you somewhat of an advantage in terms
I've,
of.
I've I've only played it in the patch. Sorry, the before wipe in 2019.
Okay.
I've reached to a really quite good level, and then when they wiped it out, I just said, you know what, that's enough. I don't want to do it again. I don't want to take time building my hideout and all that.
Yeah, I often play like maybe one wipe, then take 2 wipes off, then play another wipe. But right now the gunplay is kind of weird because they have like the gun has recoil, but to make the recoil more intense, they have camera recoil. So you can be shooting a weapon like an AK or something, and the gun doesn't have that much recoil. You're controlling it right, but there's so much camera recoil that your head's bouncing all over the place, and you can't see what you're freaking shooting at. So that I was like,
recoil is a public enemy number one for FPS gamers.
well, especially camera recoil. The gun's not recoiling that much, but it's your head that's you feel like you have necks made out of jello or something. So I'm really not digging the gunplay in Tarkov right now, which is kind of like why I put it to the side.
For me, Tarkov is a dead game for me at the moment. Especially when Battlefield 2042 came out first, I was like really hyped up for it, and I was excited for it. But I have to say what I have to say. Whenever.
No, yeah, that was a great thought on it. Like I said, we covered pretty much the concern and great observation today, guys. I feel like we maybe we are a bit, but it's because we love Battlefield after all. It's really that, and even we'll finish on that. Even the competitive community, they were vocal about the game, but like I said, good or bad comment. There is 2 type of bad comment, as you say too. But after all, it's because people care about the game. So
Yes.
So yeah, I feel it was good today. I think it was relieving to say those things a little bit about the game. I don't know for you, but I liked it. Want to say something too? It's been an hour and 15 minutes. Let's conclude this, my dear Rogue. Do you have a conclusion maybe for today?
Well, I think that was a pretty good talk, man. I think we covered a lot of points that and they need to look at seriously for either including in this Battlefield or in the next one at launch. Not make people wait a year for stuff like a renter server programming.
Spectator mode they want, please.
There you go. For especially you.
All right, yeah, this is the most important thing for you guys, the spectator mode. For the matches
man.
you guys do, right?
China versus Japan. I was taking one stream from Japan in one side, one stream from China. I was putting that in the same. It was
what a headache. What a headache.
But no, it was like I said. It's still a Battlefield game. Great talk again today, Golden. Do you want to say maybe something for? We didn't talk about it a lot, but you are the founder of gaming community.net, who have found a lot of the Battlefield scene. You are humble about that, but we talk about a lot, and a lot. Even the Rendezvous challenge that we have, it's because of you. So. By the way, I will add a few days. If not, it's going to be Ayun who will win. So I'm going to do another announcement. But yeah, no, do you want honestly, first of all, everyone who listened to this podcast today on Discord or on YouTube, go check the website gamerscommunity.net. Join his Discord also to Golden Eagle SA, following on Twitter. Do you want to add something to the end, my dear Golden?
All I want to say is thank you guys, and I hope you really keep up this amazing work you guys do in Battlefield Nations. Honestly, I really like what you guys doing.
Thanks.
I will keep supporting as much as I can. And
thanks,
once
bro.
again, let's hope that Battlefield returns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there'll be links to all that stuff in the description. Maple will make sure there's links to that, right, Maple?
Okay, I will send you the info. I will do. After this.
I'm sneaky like that. I'm sneaky. But yeah, that was a good talk. Hey, thanks for joining us, Golden. Really appreciate it, and really good podcast. Yeah.
Yes. Thanks everyone for listening also too.
All right, catch you guys in the next one in a couple of weeks, hopefully. If we stay on
2
schedule,
weeks.
should be. Yeah,
2
should be
weeks,
on
2 weeks.
schedule.
I was talking to a Twitter live stage with Hamad, and there was Kaizi Al-Kazi, ex-dev, and I told him, "Do you want to join our podcast?" And he said yes. So
there you go. So
we
yeah,
may have him
Perfect.
as our next.
so hopefully this one is releasing. Like I'm gonna try maybe push it out this week. So right now it's the 30th of March. So maybe at the end of the week or something, and then
Sounds
like
good.
2 weeks from there, next podcast. But yeah, thanks everybody for hanging out, and we'll catch you later. Peace.
Yep.